Me and the boys were sitting around drinking, we was talking about things that we was thinking, when all of a sudden what comes out of Bill's mouth? Said I'm getting old and fat and slow, and I don't recover like I did before from nights of rabble, rousing and too much fun. Well, I looked around and we all agreed, and I had a drink and I ordered 3, and I staggered back to do it all again. And we made an oath on a rum and coke with the best intention, I'm sure you know, that we would stop this living in excess. We're gonna have one more party, one more special occasion. Do it Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, holidays and weekends. We can have one more party. There's more hell we should be raising. One more party now, one more.
So today on Garage Beers, what we're going to be doing is getting a whack load of chickens. Basically where I'm getting it, there's a local Hutterite colony. When their chickens aren't at peak laying capacity, they sell them off for like $2 a bird. And so instead of trying to set up a whole lot of other operation for chicks, plus I missed that window, we're gonna pick up a whole bunch. Some of the things I've been warned about, because these birds have been raised essentially in cages, there's a big risk of a lot of them are just gonna die off due to shock. We have to, I guess, make sure that they know how to eat and drink, and because it's normally right in front of them. So we're getting a little more than what my planned capacity was for that coop out there. I was hoping for about 30-35 birds. We're getting about double that, but we're gonna see what happens. If they all end up surviving and we don't have the room for them, then we'll have a whole bunch of scrawny chickens that we're just gonna butcher, and well, we'll eat them. But what we're doing right now is we're doing transportation. So right now just prepping to actually go pick up the birds. So hooked up to the truck, got the flat deck, and to transport them, essentially all I'm doing is I bought a whole bunch of just these bankers boxes. They're about $16, $16.50 from Staples. You could probably get cheaper, but essentially I just wanted a small box with a lid on it. I could probably get 2 to 3 chickens per box in there. Essentially, so all I'm really doing is I'm just folding them up so that they look like a box. I'm gonna probably throw a little bit of straw on the bottom. It's not a long trip. I'm only going, it's like 10 minutes there, 10 minutes back from where we are. So it's not gonna be that long. And then after that, I'm gonna take the boxes, break them down again, and just store them so that I can just use them over and over. That's all they're gonna be used for. I'm not gonna use them for my files. If I want to go see my clients and they wanted to see what's going on with their tax-free savings account and the folder was covered in literal chicken shit, they may be a little perturbed. Plus, I don't want to store that. So that's what these boxes' purpose is gonna be from now until they just become too bad. So yeah, all I'm doing is I'm gonna fold them. I'm gonna put them on the flat deck, and I got because we tore down our pig pen because we moved another sea can on, so we're gonna rebuild over there. Stay tuned for future episodes when we build a larger pig pen. We're gonna have about 10 pigs, but those walls, I don't know if you remember, but you'll get to see them again. All I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take that, put it on top of all the box lids, so when I'm driving down the grid roads, it's not gonna fly away. So let's fold these up. It's got instructions in the box. You know how to fold a box, then figure it out. They tell you. But we'll time warp to then. All right, so we made it back. Essentially, that's how I ended up storing the whole thing. Took that one bit off because we just, like I said, disassembled the pig pen. Took one wall, put it on top. What I had to do was run that strap there, because I did lose a couple boxes on the way. But as you can see, all the boxes are there, so we didn't lose any chickens. Now, what I'm gonna do is just one box by one, put them into the coop. They're a little, because they were raised in cages, they don't really have too many feathers, so I might have to make sure the heat's on, at least until those start to come back. And I'm gonna have to keep an eye on them, especially since, like, you know, if there's gonna be the shock, all that good stuff. They seem to travel pretty well, but we're gonna let them out and see what it is. I'll show you guys what it looks like afterwards, because I can't hold a phone and move these boxes full of chickens. So let's see how packed we can get this coop. All right, so here's what we look like now. So we've got a crap ton of chickens. Now, like I said, they look kind of worse for wear before we got them. So we'll do our best to make everything as hospitable as possible. It's going to take a little bit because they're going to have to literally learn how to drink, how to eat, all that kind of stuff. So we'll probably set up another food dish and go from there. Hopefully instincts kind of kick in, and we're going to keep it a little warmer than normal. Yeah, those guys will be warm. They're obviously pretty stressed right now because we just put a whole bunch of birds into it. But you know what? We'll give them a little bit of a better life. Hopefully things work out a lot more better for them. Kind of sad seeing them like this, but you know what? That's how we get our eggs. And you know what? I can just do my best to make sure they kind of get treated really good here. So, because they are missing a ton of feathers from being raised in a cage, we're gonna probably keep it, like I said, a little bit warmer. I'm gonna keep that closed for now. Ventilation is gonna be a huge thing now, so we'll keep an eye on that. Obviously, you can see the dust. Well, you can't probably see, but there's a ton more dust. But this is where we are right now. Keep an eye on them. Keep that closed up, just to kind of prevent any draft. And yeah, we'll probably make a progress video, see how things going, see what I learn. In the meantime, hopefully these guys fare a lot better. Other than that, that's it for now. You know what? It's probably not as easy, or it's definitely a lot more work to raise them from chicks. But I missed that boat because they'd only do it like in the spring. I didn't even have this built by then. So for $2 a bird, it was very cost effective. Now it's just a matter of raising them, keeping them alive, and soon to get for eggs. Like I said, they're not at their prime, so it's not like they're dropping an egg every 20 hours, because you know that's kind of what they were raised to do. But you know what? An egg every 2 days, every 3 days, times this many. Hopefully we'll keep as many of them alive as we can, and we'll go from there and see if they, again, just really banking on a lot of instincts. Yeah, he's pissed. Like I started learning the roost. Starting to learn in the nest. Let's see what happens. Alright, that's it. You know, if you like what you saw, you know, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe. Send comments if you have any. You know, I got a lot of people that are always offering me advice now, so if you know any better, go ahead, leave me a comment. I do my best to reply to the very few that do actually comment. And yeah, at the end of the day, we've got some chickens, and we're going to do our best to give them a much better life. Alright, until next time. Alright, so I didn't like how the end of this chicken video ended, because you know what it was. The chickens were looking pretty sad. So here's a little bit of an update. It's first kind of real winter day that we've had. So let's see how everything's turning out with the chickens and the coop. You can see what they look like after a couple weeks. So, you know, they're still not great, but they're coming a long way. We have ended up losing about 3 of them. One, when my wife was coming in, she, whatever, they kind of scurry around all over, and one kind of bolted out there. Like the door flap was down, but they kind of one got out too cold. She didn't make out too well. But, for the rest of them though, there was another 2 that got last night. Door wasn't closed. They were too stupid to come back in. But here's what we're looking at now. So in total, we've got about 75 birds, including the original 3 up there. These guys are still pretty skittish, but they're growing feathers again, slowly but surely. I kind of give some regular water here, but for the last few weeks I've been putting some vitamins in there. We got the feed, and we got them just kind of chained up top. It's not really load bearing, they're not hanging, but when they get empty they knock them over and it kind of goes everywhere. Just so everyone knows what I'm using to actually feed these guys. So in equal parts, I'll use 1% layer, or 1 part layer feed. Usually it says 17% or stage 6, whatever. For adult laying chickens, that's what I got. 1 part of rolled steamed oats, not the molasses stuff. Apparently they don't like that. 1 part of just classic hen scratch, so it's got a bunch of different grains, some corn, some grit in there to help their bellies. And then for the wintertime, 1 part cracked corn to help them kind of put off a little bit more heat. As well, I got my oyster shells over there. They seem to be actually going through them and eating them, help their guts. On average, we get about 9 eggs a day, which, you know, it all depends because the weather, whenever it gets cold and warm and all that other stuff, whenever it gets cold, they kind of slow down. They go through that big thing of water about every 2 days, a day and a half. That was filled right to the very top this morning. As you can see, that's how far they went. That was right filled, and that was pretty close to being filled. And while that was this morning, it's about supper time now, so they go through a lot. So they're eating well, they're doing a lot better, and yeah, we got a little bit of color in their combs. I don't know if they're really standing up more or not, but they're growing some feathers back. To be honest, this is only being turned on just because, you know, it's kind of one of the first cold days. But to be honest, you really don't need that. With it all being closed up, I did my check outside. We're going to be good. The little bit of draft that comes in, if anything, it just kind of helps. While my vents are venting, you know, it does get pretty stinky, especially that next little bit. Now that we're going to have things closed up, it's going to stink a lot more. You can see on the camera, they do make a lot of dust. But that's her in a nutshell. So we got all the chickens. They seem to be doing pretty well. The ones that have died, you know what? That was on us. That was us kind of expecting that to happen. They are really fragile in this state. But feathers are coming. We got eggs. And you know what? They're coming along really well. And with that, we just got to hope, you know what? At least they figured out to use those. I can't wait for them to start using this roost. And to get up into there. Oh, that was a horrible noise. But, till next time. This is another episode of Garage Beers. Hope you liked it.